And another one bites the dust, people. So another universe has been eliminated from the Tournament of Power in the latest episode of Dragon Ball Super, episode 119, if I'm not mistaken. Now, with this episode, a couple things to talk about. To be honest with you, it's weird because a lot of us as fans, we kind of like, have been complaining that there's been an abundance of Goku screen time, and, we wanted more. So the past couple episodes here and there, we've been getting more of the other characters fighting, like Gohan and Piccolo and the androids and so on and so forth, and Goku hasn't been getting that much screen time. He did get a little bit in this episode. He was, if I'm not mistaken, the guy that helped or completely eliminated the bug dude from Universe 4, Universe 4, Cortella's universe. But for the most part, we didn't get that much Goku. But then on the episodes that we don't get that much Goku, I don't know if Toei just kind of half-asses it or what's up, but this episode in particular, there was a couple things that I was just like, I honestly think had this episode aired earlier on, had it not been after, it's been kind of building up, right? Like the arc so far since the Goku versus Jiren has been one thing after another. Whether you hated or loved the Kefla fight versus Goku, it was like the fights kept getting bigger and grander, or at the very least they were staying at a high level. And then you get to an episode like this one where we're dealing with an invisible person and a little bug that we thought was an invisible person. We thought we was dealing with two invisible people, but instead we were dealing with a small bug guy, so to speak. Now with the invisible person, honestly, and I said this I believe in the spoiler video when we were talking about what this invisible person could be, for starters, it definitely once again reminds me, and I was glad, I believe it was Beerus that said that this is such an old trick. It reminded me of, I believe, Dragon Ball. There was a tournament and there was like an invisible person, and again, just like the whole invisible thing, because we're so far into this story where like being able to see somebody doesn't really matter in a fight anymore. I was just kind of like, whatever, like, whoa, he's invisible, like, who cares? I think they tried to spice it up a little bit that, oh, hey, you can't sense them either, so, like, it's gonna be a difficult one. You can't sense them, can't see them, or whatever. But again, it's just so far into Dragon Ball where we're fighting gods and stuff like that, to the point where invisibility doesn't really mean anything. And honestly, the way Piccolo, because I was like, oh man, I knew coming into this one what was going to happen and somebody was going to get eliminated. The way Piccolo went out, I was just kind of like, it felt lackluster. I want to argue or throw the argument out there, was it as bad as Tien's elimination? Because Tien's elimination was just kind of like, whatever. I think for the most part, a lot of the Universe 7 fighters, how they've been eliminated has just kind of been like, like, you would think it'd be a little bit more drummed up or a little bit more built up and exciting, but like, similar to Tien's defeat and elimination from the tournament, Piccolo's was just kind of like, it felt lackluster. It felt like, wait, what? Like, you just had this brawl out battle, you and Gohan going in, you even had to fight the trio, the Danger and some illusion one more time, and all that cool jazz. Is like, yeah, hype. And then Piccolo just kind of gets knocked out, like he gets hit in the back, I think, or something like that. I was just kind of like, I mean, the invisible person was, I don't want to say lame, but it felt damn near lame, because it was just like, for starters, Vegeta's fight where he's pounding the living crap out of that guy. That guy, it looks like he self-ejected off the arena, but it was actually the invisible person. And then the classic hilarious thing of Vegeta sliding, I was like, what's going on here? So the invisible person, it was just kind of like goofy, if anything. It didn't feel like menacing or threatening, like, oh my gosh, we can't beat this guy's invisible. It just kind of felt like goofy and odd. And again, I think that's the placing. If this matchup or these opponents would have been earlier on, because they feel as though they're kind of like scrubs in a way. Like, I feel as though some of these fighters from Universe 4 were definitely people that they just happened to luck out and last this long, because there's been clearly other fighters, like for example Kale and Kefla, you know what I'm saying, way stronger, way better than these people. So them lasting this long, I think, is one of the problematic aspects of why this episode didn't bang like a lot of the other episodes have been, like, just really hype and action packed and overall just really good episodes. This one, it kind of felt like, we're so late in the game for little tricks like this and weak opponents like this, and Piccolo getting eliminated like this. Like, what's going on? And I think to a certain degree, another thing is, it's starting to feel, to a certain degree, the roster of Universe 7 and how everything is going to play out is starting to get more into the predictable territory. I think, when we started all of this, we figured, yeah, Goku's going to last, but it's definitely slowly but surely showcasing everything that we not necessarily predicted, but more or less thought it was going to end up with. is ending up that way. Like Goku versus Jiren and all that. It seems as though that's where it's going to be, and most of Universe 7 is getting eliminated. Again, Piccolo out in this week, and again, I'm not sure if it falls into that whole theory. One of the songs, remember, people were saying like, oh, it shows the elimination. I can't even remember at this point if it's lining up with that or not, but Piccolo eliminated, which just like, when Universe 6 got eliminated, Beerus was upset and Vegeta was upset. Piccolo getting eliminated, yeah, he's still alive, but that's only gonna further push Gohan to go crazy, because Gohan in this one, he's enjoying himself being teamed up with Piccolo, and him and Piccolo working together and having a good time, just like fighting it out. I'm sure this is in a way nostalgic for Gohan, so that Piccolo's elimination is definitely going to weigh heavily on Gohan, and that's a good thing in that aspect. So as far as like setting up for some cool Gohan stuff, this probably helped that aspect, because it's like, now Gohan's gonna be angry, he's gonna be pissed. It's like my mentor, and slowly but surely he's starting to realize like, yo, I could be next, and we really all could die. If Piccolo's out, we're shrinking down, and time is coming down. I believe after this episode, there's only 12 minutes left, if I'm not mistaken, 11 or 12 minutes. So the Tournament of Power is slowly coming to a close, and Piccolo's gone. The other one, the bug guy, honestly, I was just like, really? Like the invisible one, it was already like silly and goofy. Like, who cares? Like, okay, you can't see him, you can still body him. We're fighting gods over here, people. And then the bug guy was just like, ugh. And then Quintella tried to be crusty and salty, and he was like, no, before I go, I'm gonna. And I was like, bro, you really think you're about to do something right now? And Zeno made sure he wasn't able to do jack shit. I was like, yeah, that's a good thing. Other parts of the episode, we got a little more action of Android 17. We had 18 getting beat up by the invisible person again. And I don't know, it's just something about this episode as a whole, especially in comparison. And I think I just said this in last week's episode. Like, aside from a few little hit or misses ever since 109, 110, it's just been uphill, right? And an episode like this is like a few steps back. It's like the opponents weren't really threatening. Piccolo's elimination was kind of lame, and it's like, I don't know how to feel about this one, other than the fact that it's kind of disappointing in a way. Again, and I know I'm repeating myself at this point, but one more time, if this was earlier on, if this was like, the first few episodes of the Tournament of Power, hey, we're just starting, right? But we've had so many climactic fights. I think maybe it was an issue in a sense, even though it was really good and awesome and great. Maybe the Goku versus Jiren fight and even the Kefla fight should have happened later on in the tournament. Now, I'm sure we're going to get some sort of rematch of Goku versus Jiren, but I think if that fight happened later and we didn't even get a rematch and everything happened prior to that, I think things would have been okay and we would have still been fine with it, because that fight is like, we had the strongest Titans already go at it. So where do you go from here? Well, kind of downhill if you think about it. Now, I even think, if you think about it, like this episode or the Kefla episode, I think the Kefla episode, why people were so like angsty against it, obviously aside from the BS stuff, is again, you had a really, really even and awesome fight with Goku versus Jiren, and then it's like a step down. So anything that happens from here on out with weaker fighters, I think people are going to feel the same way. And again, Piccolo should have been eliminated in a crazy way, a really emotional or something, you know what I'm saying? Especially with Gohan right there, I should have felt something, you know what I'm saying? I shouldn't just feel like, oh well, the green motherfucker's gone, I shouldn't be feeling that way. I should be feeling like, man, we're down one more person, and it's Piccolo. Why I had to be Piccolo? That's how I should feel, and I don't feel like that. So this episode, it was average. I'm gonna say at best average, and I think we could fit at average, because like I said, had this happened earlier on, I think this would have been a good episode. But since it's going downhill and Piccolo's elimination was just like lame, I'm gonna say average at best, somewhere around there. Kind of curious what you guys think about this episode, though. How did you feel about the invisible fighter and the bug man? Were you excited about it? Also, did you give a hoot and holler about Piccolo's elimination the way it was done? Not the fact that Piccolo's out, because I can see if you're a Piccolo fan, like, freak, he's gone. But just the way he was eliminated, it's like, bro, it could have been way more epic than that. It could have been emotional. It could have been something. Now, it's setting up for some good stuff in the future for Gohan, because he's going to be upset. But the way it was executed, execution was very, very poor. So yeah, your overall thoughts of the episode and where we're going from here. Again, do you think when we get episodes like this where it focuses less on Goku and the other fighters, do you think it's just because the way Toei is doing it that it's not like as exciting as it could be? Or do you think it's because like Goku's just so damn interesting? It's like you take Goku out of the equation and Dragon Ball just loses it. Like, stop. Like, yeah, your thoughts on that. And again, your overall thoughts of the episode. Honestly, it was a stinker amongst, like, we've had weeks upon weeks of just really epic stuff. So yeah, there's that. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and do a little stalking on my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule. Anime and manga for life, boy. Bow. Have an awesome day.